The next clip is the first 20 minutes of a Crossing Borders podcast episode. Visit youtube.com/@CrossingBordersPodcast or check out Crossing Borders on Spotify or Google Podcasts for the full episode. Links are available in the description.
Welcome, listeners, to Crossing Borders, a podcast not about immigration. I am your host, Sid, also known as Squidney, and this is my co-host, Josh, also known as Mythic. Grab your passports
Hello
and join
there.
us for episode 11, where we will be talking about breaking Brits. But first, let's catch up
Breaking
on
Bad?
each other's... No, Brits, the British. You know,
Oh, okay, gotcha.
that little island.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, with the tea people on it, the tea folk.
With the in it and the mate.
Yeah, in it. A disclaimer to begin the
Sorry,
episode:
guys.
anything we say about British people,
Should be disregarded, and we are joking.
yes, it is all in good fun, and you can make sure to make fun of us American and Indonesians in the comments if you feel justified.
Mm-hmm.
Let's go way back and ponder the meaning of what it is to be American. It means you live in America, by the way.
Okay.
So, once upon a time, there were 13 British colonies on the east coast of what is now the United States of America. I would list them all, but I'm
13?
probably going to forget one, even though I do know them all. It's just
That's
I
a
won't
lot.
remember one of them, you know?
Oh.
But these 13 colonies are called the 13 colonies.
Wow, very
I know, it's
creative
very
naming.
clever
I
name.
can't believe that. That's insane. Very subtle as well.
Yes. You know, you have to really think about it to really understand what it's talking about. But these 13
Mhm.
colonies were British colonies. So it was part of Britain.
Okay.
So there's like Virginia, there's New York. I think was New York an original colony? I have
Wait
no
a
idea.
minute. So you mean in the beginning of the era, in the beginning of the world, in the beginning of America, there's
Yeah.
only 13 states technically, but they're colonies.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I understand.
Yeah. And
Continue.
they essentially became like they still exist almost as they were as states now. Let's see, I'll Google what are the 13 original colonies just so I don't waste time trying to remember.
Anyway, while Squid is looking for the colonies that he lost, this video is sponsored by. Just kidding.
What? No,
Nice.
you didn't tell me that. Okay, the 13 colonies.
We were sponsored. Excuse me.
Yeah. But there was 13 of them, obviously, but they were split into 3 regions, essentially. So there's the northern ones, which were called New England.
Okay.
There was the middle ones, which were called the Middle, and then there was the southern ones, which are the Southern.
Very.
So
I can't believe they came up with these.
I know
things.
Americans
It's
and
real.
British are just so good with names. You know, we got New York,
Oh no.
we got New Mexico. You know, we're really clever. New England.
Mhm.
So
Yep.
these 13 colonies, there's New Hampshire, New Hampshire.
Oh,
There's
another new one.
Massachusetts.
Okay.
There's Rhode Island,
Mhm.
Connecticut, New York, New Jersey, Pennsylvania, Delaware, Maryland, Virginia, North Carolina, South Carolina, and Georgia. So these are the 13
Oh.
OG colonies, you know.
Uh-huh.
And they were under control by the British because they were part of the British Empire. There was no America. We hadn't yet found our
No.
dignity.
The world is blessed. I mean, it's cursed.
American pride,
yeah.
God bless America. Bald eagle sound in the background. You know what I'm saying? But there was a war, not the Revolutionary War, or the United States Revolution. This is the French and Indian War, as it's called. Even though it's not India, it's Native American, but it's called the French and Indian War. But in this war, the British colonies and France fought a war against the Native Americans for
and they
like
massacred
land
them
rights
all.
and things like that. But the
Human
point
atrocity.
of that, yeah, we take over the world. No, just kidding. a lot of the American soldiers weren't paid from it because the British government, I think the British government was like low on funds or something like that, and so they couldn't like afford to pay them what they
Interesting.
deserved. So that was like number one, or that was like one strike. We're like, hey, them British people over there across the sea. We're Brits too, but the British, So you know what the British did?
What did
Taxes.
they do?
Taxes.
No.
And if I turn
How
on the
dare
echo,
they?
taxes. I love having
How could they?
echo knob on my mic. Anyways, but there was taxes on
Now I
like
want that
a
echo
lot
knob.
of things.
Give me that echo knob.
Yeah, the echo knob is awesome. Everyone listening, if you ever get a microphone, get one that has an echo knob so you can sound really cool. It's really dramatic. You can go like, there I was on March 1st, 1993. It was a dark and cloudy day. And my mom made me wash the dishes, so it wasn't too bad. You know, things like that.
No.
Anyways, British.
That was hilarious. That was a hilarious segment, I would say.
Yeah. So, taxes. British put tons of taxes, and so people, first of all, a lot of the people didn't get paid as they should, so they're upset. And second of all, taxes.
Nobody likes taxes.
I've said taxes a lot.
No, let's be real here.
Yeah, there's a phrase that gets tossed around during history classes, which is taxation without representation. It's a little catchy thing we like to say when we're talking about the British. Because in their parliament, they have like a bunch of like government members, and they all vote on things. I think that's how it works. I don't know. I'm not British. But essentially they had people representing like the colonies that weren't from the colonies. So all the decisions they made, they had no people from the actual colonies that were there to voice their views. So
well, that doesn't sound very fair.
Yeah, and that's why it's taxation without representation, because they're taxing us, but they're also not representing us, you know. For example, one of these taxes, the Tea Act, was passed in 1773 to financially assist the struggling British East India Company by placing a small tax on tea. You know, the British and their tea.
When they say small, I don't think it's actually really small.
Probably not.
Just a tiny bit tax of 100%, you know?
Yeah.
No biggie.
100% tax. You have to pay $600 for a cup of tea. No, but
imagine that.
Yeah, people were not too happy, as you can imagine, about all these new taxes. There was like stamp taxes, tea taxes, all these random taxes that nobody was happy with. And so
obviously,
people are kind of upset.
Tax everything that exists. You get a tax. He gets a tax. Everybody gets a tax.
We're also installing a barber tax. Whenever you get your hair cut, you need to pay the government. No, I'm just kidding.
Oh, what? Really? No. No.
That would be awful.
I was about to say.
So this led to protests. As you can imagine, there's a very famous one known as the Boston Tea Party. And it's not the tea party where you like sit around sipping tea.
Wait. Let me guess.
Yeah.
Is it the one where they threw the tea boxes into the ocean?
Yeah.
Aha! Yes, I got it right. Oh my gosh. Watching all those videos actually helped me. My gosh.
Yeah. So essentially, a bunch of people, I don't know how many people, but a bunch of guys, they dressed up as Indians, which is like not great, but you know, they boarded the ships and threw 340 chests full of tea overboard into the bay.
Let me guess. The Brits aren't too happy about that.
Yeah, and that's a lot of tea too. Like, I'm pretty sure.
I mean, yeah.
I think I remember hearing that bay was like dyed tea color for like a week or something. Boston tea.
Imagine,
party,
I mean, free tea. You can just like
color.
drink out of that, right? Unless you get taxed for it too, then well.
The water turned brown. Yeah.
That's insane to think about,
46
though.
tons of tea.
Oh my gosh, it's a lot.
That's a lot of tea.
Oh dear, that's a lot of tea.
And so the British responded, and they were like, "Okay, we're gonna pass some more acts because Americans love acts." And
As you do.
in the Americas, they were called the Intolerable Acts. And most people didn't like them.
I don't like that name.
Yeah,
I don't like it either.
Yeah. And then my boy, Patrick Henry, one of the classic OG Americans,
Oh,
he said something like, yeah, Patrick Henry. He's one of the founding
Is his middle name Star? Oh, never mind.
No. But yeah, in America, we have these things called the Founding Fathers. It's essentially like the group of old white guys who created the country or were important in the Revolution era. And one of these guys was Patrick Henry, who was super freedom. He's like, I love freedom. He even said, give me liberty or give me death. Yeah,
that's a bit extreme, but
it is a bit extreme, but he is very patriotic, I imagine. He's also dead.
Oh. Does he wear red, white, and blue every time he goes out of the house?
That's a good question. I don't know. If I ever meet him, I will ask him that question. I'm like, hey, my Indonesian friend wonders if you wear red, white, and blue often. And he's like, yes, I do. America.
Oh, dude, imagine that. That's hilarious.
Every day I dump tea in the harbor just to commemorate the Boston Tea Party. No, I'm just kidding. Tensions increased, and the British were worried because, like, the colonists were, tossing tea into the harbor. And we can't have any of that now, can we, in it?
No, not mate.
Tea.
Not the tea, mate.
No,
not the tea in it.
But, so there's I'm pretty sure they deployed more soldiers in the colonies, or had them guarding governors' mansions and things like that, because there was civil unrest.
These Brits were never mind. I forgot what I wanted to say.
Yeah,
I'll stay quiet. I forgot what I wanted to say.
Around this time, there was a dreadful event in the year 1770.
Oh no!
Dang it! Pop-up newsletter thing. Okay. March 5th, 1770.
Let's go.
On King Street in Boston. This was after, because the Tea Act, from the Stamp Act, or the Tea Act 1773. There's acts in 1754 is when things started, with the French and Indian War. So about 16 years after the beginning of the French and Indian War, it was already over at this point. There's the event known as the Boston Massacre.
No, yes. They did not.
There is. So, it happened in Boston, believe it or not. So,
no way! I would have never guessed that from the name. What?
Me neither. There's a really famous painting of it as well. This was actually, I think it's a pretty historically. Here, I'll send you the thing. I'm pretty sure the painting itself is pretty historically significant, because it was a color painting or a color printing in the newspaper.
Okay.
Which is not easy to do because you have to custom carve out the symbols and everything.
Yeah, well, fair enough. It's
and
clear.
Then you paint it every single time. Okay, I'm sending it to there. So this image went out in the newspapers after.
No, I know this one. No,
and there's a dog in the picture too,
somewhere.
to make people feel even worse.
No.
Yes.
How dare they? How dare
So,
they?
so in the city, there's a lot of British soldiers present, and they were guarding a. I'm not entirely sure what they were guarding, but there was a bunch of them in front of some sort of like government house or store or something like that. I'm not
Warehouse,
entirely sure
right?
what it is. People in the comments, if you want to,
Yeah. Okay.
if you guys are nerds, you can drop that down below. Also, if you guys are commenting anything about me being wrong about history, go ahead because I probably already made a mistake.
Yeah. I mean, while you're down there, why not hit subscribe and also hit
Yeah,
follow if you're
and
on
like the
Spotify?
video and follow or whatever. I'm used to
Indeed,
YouTube. I have no idea what this
indubitably.
Spotify thing is. Um, anyways,
Spotify. Excuse me.
so there's people in front of the or like the officers and the soldiers are kind of like chilling there, taking a force of like a bunch of people being mad and yelling and throwing snowballs at them, and stuff.
Oh, okay. Big snowball fight.
Yeah,
That's why.
it's a snowball
That's
fight.
why it started.
Yeah.
I guess.
I think there was. I think it was in the winter at least. I did. I what in history class we watched a movie with about the lawyer who defended the British, who is actually one of the founding fathers. I can't remember exactly who it is. John Adams,
Oh,
maybe. Second president of the United
interesting.
States. But it was an interesting movie. I don't know which one it is though. If anyone knows what it's talking about, why don't you drop it down in the comments? And while you're down, no, just kidding. So
Oh no.
yeah, they're
Well,
throwing things, they're yelling, they're throwing rocks even.
that's not good.
And one of the soldiers fired a gun. I don't know if it was an accident or on purpose. I think, yeah, one of the officers, and he killed an 11-year-old boy. On accident. I'm
No.
pretty sure, 99% sure he was not aiming for the boy. I don't know if he shot on accident or on purpose, but I'm pretty sure he was not trying to shoot the kid. uh, I mean, the British, they like their tea and all, but I'm pretty sure they don't, casually shoot 11-year-olds. And so, as you can imagine,
Yeah.
once
I
that hit
mean,
papers,
if
everyone was mad.
everyone would be
Yeah.
mad. I would be. I'm mad. I'm angry. They shot.
Yeah. And Brits,
Time to break them, Brits.
Yeah. Until one thing led to another, and then there's talk of revolution in the air. Yes.
No.
Revolution.
I mean, yes.
And violence, things like that. Here, let me pull up a timeline
Chaos
so I don't
ensues.
forget anything. Boston Massacre. Okay.
Uh-huh.
I have no idea what this thing is.
Oh, look at you not knowing your history.
Well, I just pull up a
This is
timeline. There's
interesting.
some obscure reference. I'm like, I have no idea what that is. And so,
Oh,
the
okay.
Tea Party
Gotcha.
happened 3 years after the massacre. So just to make sure that's clear, massacre was in 1770.
Okay.
Tea Party, Boston Tea Party, was in 1773. And so before the Boston Massacre, it was all like taxes, a bunch of acts that nobody liked, the Indian-French War, the French and Indian War, things like that. And then there was the massacre, so people are upset about that. Then there's the Boston Tea Party.
Very upset.
And then there's the intolerable acts.
What?
Sorry, what?
But why couldn't they just, mend up? If you look at the painting again, they're all wearing the same hats, They're on the hat club. Why not just,
Who knows?
get back together, shake hands, pull the trigger. I mean, not pull the trigger. Anyway, please continue.
But, alas, any attempts for peace, like shaking hands, were definitely outbalanced by people being unhappy. Now, just throwing this out there, most people were not shouting rebellion in the streets, because most people don't do that. But there was a lot of people who, most people were upset about it. A few people were very obvious about it. Boston
Radical
Tea
about
Party.
Mhm.
And then the British dropped a new update. The Intolerable Acts.
Software update.
Software update.
Please restart your
The
device.
Intolerable Acts. Okay, let's see. What was
Windows.
in the Intolerable Acts?
I'm guessing all the acts inside the Intolerable Acts are intolerable.
Yes,
So.
they were all intolerable. I can't even say that. My English is my only language.
How can you mess up with your own language?
I don't know, man. I mean, it's...
Check out Crossing Borders Podcast on YouTube, Spotify, or Google Podcasts for the full episode. Links are available in the description. Thanks for listening.